Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Reactor, and this is Quinn. And today's article comes from CNBC.com and says cryptocurrencies have shed almost 700 billion since January peak, which, in my opinion, doesn't mean anything.
Right, like shed 700 billion of their worth.
Which means the giant corporate investors have siphoned all the money from the poor people who are trying to jump on the bandwagon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
and don't worry, they'll do it again.
Okay.
So there's nothing
So
to worry about.
the big banks are controlling this at this point.
Definitely, yeah. I know for a fact governments are buying into it.
Oh, okay.
That's part of the big spike, and then they started, like all the poor people jump in on it, it makes so much money that they're like, all right, time to sneak out, and they slowly get out, and now that it's dropping to like so low, the poor people are probably like, all right, screw this, I gotta get my money out, and once they get their money out, big banks are gonna scoop it right back up.
Sounds like a real well played scam.
Yep, the stock market is a well played scam. The billionaires are the ones doing it all. The total market capitalization of all cryptocurrencies fell to around 138.6 billion, down more than 80% since its January peak. Bitcoin was seen trading at a price of 4,300, down over 4% on the day, and well below its all-time high of nearly 20,000 last year. Investors are rattled by news of a schism in Bitcoin's most notable spin-off, Bitcoin Cash, as well as regulatory worries. Is it schism or schism? I don't know.
Do you think that as a new investor that a person has a chance of making money if they were to go and buy a couple Bitcoins for themselves when
if they
this
know
price drops?
if they know how to battle the giant corporations and what the giant corporations are doing and the governments, then yeah, easily.
So basically they need to spot some sort of
Well, I can tell you right now, not to cut you off, but this is almost an identical pattern to what happened in 2013 with Bitcoin. Bitcoin went from zero when it first started, and then in December of 2013 it spiked up to like 1,100 or like around there.
Right.
And then it dropped down to like $230 after that. So that's an 80% decrease, just like this. This is identical. And it's funny because if you look at the stock market, I played with the stock market a lot, doing day trading until I got greedy and lost like $5,000 in one day. I was still up by like 35,000, but
Wow.
But after I realized, like, man, I got greedy. I was like, nope, I'm out, cash out, and that's why I got off it. But what I noticed is, it's actually creepy. The stock market is actually human thought, and you can actually see it, like how human thought is. It's just a graph of how humans are thinking, and it repeats itself because humans don't stop thinking the same way. Large groups of humans will always think the same exact way as large groups of humans.
Right.
Yeah, so I was actually like really creeped out when I noticed like the pattern in that, but this is identical. So my opinion is, right now the big corporations know how to manipulate the markets, but the markets are more regulated with like the laws and stuff like that, so they can't really pump and dump, and get away with it without doing a lot more sneaky stuff.
Pump and dump, like pumping money into it to make it.
Yeah, so like you notice like when Oprah bought Weight Watchers, the stock shot up because everyone was like, oh my God, she's buying Weight Watchers, I should too. And then if she wanted, she could quietly just get rid of hers. Everyone who followed her because they thought, oh, she knows what she's doing. Now she made like 10 times her investment, and she can slowly get out and leave with like
and no one would really know that she did.
Yeah, and she legally could do that because she didn't tell anyone to buy it.
Right.
The news just broke that she bought like a huge chunk of it.
Right.
Yeah, so it's really easy to manipulate. And but my point is, this is identical to what happened in 2013, where it dropped and then it went up tenfold to $20,000 or 20-fold. That's 20 times what it was.
I remember seeing it at like 15,000 or something like that.
So if let's like average it out in 2013, let's say it got to $1,000, because that's kind of where it got, where everyone just started automatically selling it.
Okay.
So it multiplied by 20, got to kind of, let's like just to estimate again, 20, even though it was like 18,000, but say it was 20, and then it dropped down 80%. Well, 20 is 20. It's 20 times what the original peak was 5 years prior. So I think it can grow 20 times more than $20,000.
Right. I don't think you're wrong about that.
Yeah. Especially, like, it's weird. It's almost like, and this is what was creeping me out about the stock market. You could see, it was almost like the stock market was predicting natural events, which was creepy. Like, wait, how does it predict natural events? Like,
Right.
I don't know, like patterns like this. So like what I'm saying is, for example, the pattern I'm talking about right now, where it spiked up and dropped, and then it did an identical dance with this right now.
Right.
It's almost like it's predicting that in 5 years something's going to happen, some sort of natural disaster or a war or something is going to happen where everyone's going to jump into it 20 times more than they did last year.
Yeah.
And
It could be some sort of financial collapse
Mhm.
with the U.S. dollar.
Yes,
It could be something like that.
But it's almost like it predicts it. Like, why is it happening in a pattern? Yeah, and that really creeped me out.
I mean,
I want to believe it's a coincidence, but like I saw it in multiple stocks. Like, and I don't know. Like, not to get into like conspiracy theories, but
I mean,
like,
it's
it was
not really,
weird, and it was real.
It's not really a conspiracy when you look at like dynasties. Look at dynasties in China. I mean, just look at China, for instance. Like, usually their dynasties would last around 200 years, and that's like about, we're 200-300 years. We're at that
pattern
mark
again.
You know?
It's like they're human patterns, human thought patterns. That it's just weird. I don't know. Let's get into the article though. The cryptocurrency market is facing an intense sell-off as investors are rattled by heightened talk of regulatory scrutiny and infighting over a schism in Bitcoin's most notable spin-off, Bitcoin Cash. And Bitcoin Cash is, it's a spin-off. They took the algorithm that is Bitcoin, and then they made a spin-off of it where I guess some people made money because they, I don't know, if you like owned one Bitcoin, you'd get like 20 free Bitcoin Cash that were worth like, 5% what the Bitcoin was. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know a whole lot about it because when I got out of the stock market, I kind of stopped following a lot of it.
Right. Okay.
At around 1:50 p.m. London time, the total market capitalization of all cryptocurrencies, which is worked out by multiplying prices by the number of tokens in circulation, had fallen to around 138.6 billion, according to Coin market cap data. That marks cryptocurrency's lowest level since September 2017 and more than 80% decline, which translates to almost 700 billion. Since the peak of over 830 billion, their market value reached at the start of this year. So, my prediction, and like that's another thing, a lot of people who aren't familiar with this, when I started my Reactor channel, I did start it as a joke, and I didn't intend to keep making it, so that's why I killed off I went to prison and stuff like that. Don't tell anyone I said this, because, don't mention this on my other channel. No.
I'm sure they won't find out.
Yeah, no one will know. But anyway, I did continue making YouTube videos on my original channel, but it was only like a hobby for me. But one of the things reason that I left is because that's when I started day trading.
Okay.
And I spent like the next year day trading. And
oh, cool! I didn't know that. All right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's when I started getting really deep into reading patterns and how it all works together and how it's being manipulated by big corporations and blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
Prices were hit with an initial downturn last week, ending months of relatively stable trading for the world's biggest and best-known digital asset, Bitcoin, an unusual phenomenon for an asset known for its wild volatility. Yeah, it's because it's not regulated. So I guess they're getting that would be part of it, because the billionaires or the big corporations are manipulating it right now.
Okay. Because
it's not the stock market. The stock market has the laws,
right?
And this doesn't, and that's one of the reasons that they're all jumping on board and manipulating it so much.
Right. You make it sound like it's the Wild West of stock trading.
Yep, it is. Yeah. And if you have $1 billion, you can easily steal $1 billion from all the poor people who piled their money in there, try and get rich. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So the move came on the back of news that Bitcoin Cash's blockchain, essentially a digital ledger with no central authority overseeing it, was set to be split into two, an event known as a hard fork. Okay. Yeah, see, and that, again, could be a corporation manipulating it. They know, the people who do this for a living, I read a lot about it, but they know way more than I did, and they all talk to each other, so they share the secrets and stuff like that
right.
I couldn't just Google, or figure out.
Right.
So that could be a way of manipulating it for them. Forks, which are essentially software upgrades, usually occur when there is a disagreement about how to scale a cryptocurrency to cope with a higher volume of trading, such as the August 2017 fork that led to the creation of Bitcoin Cash. Last week's fork saw Bitcoin Cash cloven into two new separate virtual currencies, Bitcoin ABC and Bitcoin SV, short for Satoshi's Vision. And Satoshi is the creator of Bitcoin. No one knows who he is, but he supposedly has like $100 billion worth of Bitcoin, that no one knows where it is. The latter being the brainchild of controversial entrepreneur Craig Wright, who claims to be Bitcoin inventor Satoshi Nakamoto, which really he's claiming to be the inventor. Like another thing to keep in mind is during the 2008 collapse, global economic collapse, that's when Bitcoin was born. It was born from that. So, people think it could have been a government that made it.
Right.
It could have been some guy on his computer who made it, but nobody really knows. And this guy's claiming it was him. Who knows? I don't know. As a result, various cryptocurrencies fell, with Bitcoin dropping below 6,000 and multiple other digital assets following suit. Fast track to Friday, and the world's largest virtual coin is trading at a price of $4,300, down over 4% in the last 24 hours. It's actually at like $3,600 now. Yeah.
Okay.
According to CoinMarketCap. Meantime, XRP, a digital token association with blockchain firm Ripple, dipped 6.7% to below 41 cents, while Ether, the digital token of the Ethereum blockchain, fell more than 7% to just under $1.22. The extension of losses for the market comes on the heels of Tuesday's report by Bloomberg News that the U.S. Department of Justice is investigating whether cryptocurrency traders used Tether, a token founder's claim is pegged to the U.S. dollar, and an associated trading venue called Bitfinex to buoy the price of Bitcoin. Yeah, so they're investigating if they were manipulating it. But again, I don't think it's regulated, so.
Right.
Tether has proven to be a point of contention for the entire industry, given doubts around whether it holds enough dollar reserves to match the number of Tether tokens in circulation. Tether claims it does, which would also be an easy scam. The controversial token sank well below its dollar peg last month, dropping as low as 93 cents, as questions built up over its alleged role in driving Bitcoin's rally, which saw the digital coin soar close to 20,000 last year. But I feel like it's kind of settled that governments were buying into it. Large investment firms were buying into it.
Okay.
The ones that were late. The biggest ones I actually heard were doing it way before everyone else. But Maddie Greenspan, senior market analyst at eToro, insists the market was still driven by technicals. The price of Bitcoin is up more than 1,000% over the last 3 years, and after the great bull run in quarter 4 2017, what we're seeing now is simply a pullback, he said. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's simply a pullback, and then it's going to go even stronger. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's going to be creepy. You're going to be creeped out when you find out why it's going to rocket to to at least $100,000. That's my guess. Because it is a lot of money, and it is possible that the idea of that huge amount of money would kind of scare people away.
Right.
So, but for the most part, as long as the money exists, people are probably going to invest it. In percentage terms, this type of pullback is quite normal for Bitcoin and has happened many times since its inception. There have been a number of instances in which the price of Bitcoin has been shown to have fallen steeply. There are many side stories in the crypto space right now, some of them fairly complex, including the Bitcoin Cash hard fork, but none of them have any fundamental reasons to send prices down, Greenspan said. So when something like this happens, what these giant corporation like investment firms do is they use things as a reason for taking money out. Like, oh, we have to sell now because of that, when really, and that gives them like an alibi to prove that they're not manipulating. Like, no, something happened, we gotta leave.
Right.
Yeah, that's my opinion. In fact, it's the opposite. The crypto industry is progressing at a rapid rate. Blockchain projects are hiring and institutional players are getting ready to enter the space. Yeah, that's it. And these are the prices, I guess. So Bitcoin, Bitstamp, is at 37. Ether's at 105. It's at $1.33.
Yeah.
I think that was a typo. Yeah,
right.
It sounded low. Like, oh wow.
Yeah,
First one was higher than
buy
that.
some of those.
Bitcoin Cash is at 171. But yeah, so I feel like, don't blame me. I could be wrong. It's totally possible that something else crazy happened.
You're saying do your research, but this could be a trend that shows that.
Yeah, this is identical to the trends that I saw in 2016 when I was following the market really closely.
Okay.
And yeah, if you look at stocks, you'll see, like, you can look at the history of stocks, and you'll see it's almost like these giant investment firms know of natural disasters. I'm saying like Hurricane Katrina. It's like you can see the pattern in things like natural.
I'm going to take all my savings after this and buy half of a Bitcoin. And I won't hold you responsible though.
But I think right now, if Bitcoin's at 3,700, it still has room to drop. You know, like these giant firms are waiting for all the poor people to see that they left, so that they sell too, because it's an emotional thing.
Right.
It's you have to be emotionally hardened in order to day trade in the stock market.
Right.
You have to see your money disappearing before your eyes and say, "Nah, that's not
I'm
real."
cool
though."
with that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's fine.
Right.
You know, which is a really difficult thing to do, especially if you're putting all your money in it.
Right.
Don't put all your money.
Like
It's like
I'm going to do.
Don't go to the casino and take your life savings and put them all in black.
Right.
You want to take like 1% of your life savings and be like, I don't mind if I lose this.
Yeah, it's probably
And
a
then
better
you put it
idea.
in. Yeah.
You're right.
So that's how you gamble. That's the proper way to gamble. The stock market's cool because you can make educated guesses as opposed to just straight up putting it all in black.
Right, which I never liked that.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, because that's just crazy. That's just, you're going to lose your money, man.
Yeah.
But with the stock market, you do have a chance. You just have to watch out for the giant investors who know how the public thinks. Like I said, when they started investing in Bitcoin, and then all the poor people, not necessarily poor, but like people who only make like $70,000 a year, were like, oh, I've got an extra $8,000 in the bank.
Right.
I'll throw that in there.
Right.
Because it's skyrocketing right now. I'll probably make money.
Mm-hmm.
And then once all those people put their money in, the big investment firms are like, all right, sneak out, get out. And we're taking their money now. And then once that poor guy sees they're out and it drops from 18,000 to $4,000, he sits there going, oh my God, I spent $8,000.
I guess I should get out
I
while
lost
I still
half my
can,
money right now.
right?
I lost half my money right now. Like, I can't. This isn't good. I would rather have the $4,000 than risk it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he pulls out, so the price drops to under $2,000, and then the big firms are like, all right, grab them back up quick before they notice. And then
Right.
they buy them all up again, and then that guy's like, crap, now it's 8,000 again.
Why
just
did I sell?
Yeah, I'm buying half of one now.
Right.
You just fucking gave away a huge chunk of money, dude.
That sucks.
Yep, that's what happens. It's all a scam.
Good advice. Good advice,
Yeah.
Richter.
Yep. So, my opinion is Bitcoin is going to skyrocket at least 5 times higher than it did last year.
Damn.
In 5 years, within 5 years.
Right.
Probably between 3 and 6 years from now.
All right.
Yeah. So, just wait for that extra money you have that you don't mind losing, and then throw it in when you think it's at the lowest point. Do your research. And
Could
you
be
make money.
today. We don't know.
Yeah.
Never know.
Once it gets low enough, they want it to get low enough that people are all pulling their money out, because then they can buy it cheaper. And the
Right.
cheaper you can buy it, like if it dropped down to 10 cents right now, that would be beautiful for any investor,
Right.
because they could buy them for 10 cents, and they know they can inflate it to 20 grand again.
Right.
So like if they can buy it for 20 cents and sell it for 20 grand, that's unlimited. That's like a money cheat code right there. I don't know, man. But you have anything else you want to say? Yeah, well, that's it for the article. If you enjoyed it, let us know by giving it a thumbs up. What do you think? Have you guys ever heard of the patterns I was talking about, where it's like it predicts natural disasters and not even natural disasters though? It's like it's like man-made disasters also, which that I can understand how it would be manipulated by people.
Right.
Like, yeah, sure, they're the ones who did. If a person was behind it, But other than that, check our description for our Patreon link if you want to help us. And thanks for watching.